Are you searching for direction in life? Have you given all of yourself to everyone else and have very little for yourself? Have you put you on the back burner while taking care of the responsibilities of everything and everybody else while neglecting yourself? Life coach and mentor Mischell Gee has told us the wait is over. In this new movement called The Green Room, she's assembled friends of every walk of life that will share with us transformative principles that will change our life's trajectory. Come join us for the Green Room experience. Your life will never be the same.
And welcome to the Green Room. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We're here live in the Green Room, and I'm so excited today. Now, let me just go ahead and let everybody know. I know you see me in this color, and this is a color that I do not normally wear. But I'm making an exception this month. In honor of Heart Awareness Month, I want to wear red to represent all of the women that have lost their lives with their fight to heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women in America. And so this month, we'll be doing many things to help bring awareness to heart disease. So you see me in this red, forgive me. Forgive me, I promise you after this month, I will not be in red again. With that being said, I'm so excited to be here this evening. Wait, W-A-I-T, and wait, W-E-I-G-H-T. Two very distinct words with very distinct meanings, but both have a negative connotation. We declare here in the Green Room that the wait is over and the time is right now. What are we talking about, wait? As women, we carry so many cares of the world. We carry the cares of our family, the cares of our workplace, our neighborhood, our church communities. Everything is placed on the shoulders of women. And so in our Green Room, we declare that we're just not waiting anymore. It's time for us to have what we want, what we need, and it's time to have it now. And so our studio audience has joined in this evening so that we can further push the issue of the wait is over. This month, we're going to be doing a series with self-love, and we're starting today with mindset. Everything that happens positive in your life, it first starts in your mind. And so today, I am so excited. We've got a mindset trender, trailblazer here with us this evening in the person of Quiana Malone. She is the founder of Dear Black Girl and One Step Up Foundation. Quiana is all of that and a bag of chips, and she's going to tell you why. So here in the Green Room, Quiana, we've declared that the wait is over and the time is now. So the first thing I like to ask all of my guest in the Green Room is to tell us a wait story. You know, as a girl growing up, as a woman, people have always said, wait on payday. Wait until your daddy get home. You got to wait till Christmas. Wait and see as an adult. Wait till your children are grown. Wait. Give us a wait story that you want to share with the Green Room family and how you learned to wait through the process.
A wait story. I like to say that my whole life is a wait story. Or so I thought. And I know we're talking about the wait is over, but I want to pivot a little bit. Sometimes the wait is necessary. And so what I've learned in the last 39 years is I have been waiting for a reason. And so one of the reasons that I've had to wait so long is because I was not ready for what I was asking for. I would try to create things, I would try to do things, I would try to make things move in my timing, and it never worked. And so one of the things that helped me to learn how to wait, I'm formerly incarcerated, right? And so I like to tell people that I've seen more time than you probably seen on your best watch. And I could never understand why I always had to wait. I had to wait on good jobs. All my friends always had the good jobs. If anybody knows me, I always worked at restaurants, hotels, doing those type of things. One, because I had a bad background, but also because people would say I was overqualified. I remember I found myself homeless one time, and I had got to a space where I didn't care anymore. So, you know, McDonald's wasn't a popular thing. And so at this particular moment, I said, you know what? Quiana, you got to do what you got to do. I had my son at 17. You know, we was pillar to post, going from spot to spot, and I just got tired. I got tired of me. I got tired of my situation, and I got tired of waiting. And so what happened was I said, I'm going to go to McDonald's. And when I got to McDonald's, he told me I was overqualified. And so that thing bothered me so bad, because how are you overqualified to flip a burger?
Right.
And so I felt defeated to the point where I cried. And he said, well, you have to understand that you have so much in you, so much potential, that if I give you a job as a manager here, as soon as something else good come along, you're going to be gone, and then I'm going to be without, and I just can't do that. And it was at that moment I remember I cried. I just cried like a baby, and I'm like, God, what you want from me? Now, this was at a time where I wasn't thinking about Jesus, and I thank God that he was thinking about me, but it was just one of those times. I was raised in church, so I always knew God. I knew the power of prayer. I knew the word, but I was tired of church. And so I think when I turned 17, I had my son, and I didn't go back into a church until I was about 27.
Wow.
And this was that time at McDonald's.
Wow.
And I just was like, I'm tired of waiting. One thing led to another. I finally decided to, hey, you got to do something different. And, things happened, time progressed. I am now a 2-time published author. I'm certified by Harvard Kennedy School, doing public narrative and storytelling training. So I go all over the world. Anybody know me? You see me on planes, hopping on planes. I go around to different organizations, and I train people on how to tell their story. I work for the largest social justice organization, Color Change. And I don't say this to like a brag or to say who I am. And this was another thing that I struggled with, but I am who I am. And so I always wondered why I had to wait, but I had to get a mindset shift, right? So I say all that. I'm a public speaker. I'm a certified public speaker at that. I run 2 amazing organizations, and we have second level homes where we are breaking ground on our 2 transitional homes in the 32219 area. But my job, I told you that I always worked at the low-end jobs, and that was a big thing for me.
Okay.
Just being around the people, my friends, and they were going to the call centers, and they were working, and they was doing all this stuff, and it's like, I'm just stuck. But it wasn't until 2018 when I realized why I had to wait. I remember going to a Black women's brunch here in Jacksonville that my job host had never heard of it. Asked a couple of my girlfriends, hey, y'all want to go with me? And everybody turned me down, but it was something that said, you need to go. I went, and I was a hustler. So I ended up going to this program, and I met one of the organizers there. And so, we got to talking, and at the time I had really red hair. So I stuck out, and she just was like, it's something about you, like I want to know about you. And I ended up going to this event, and we just got to talking, and she said, well, we only deal with Black-owned businesses, and so we're looking for a caterer. Now, I ain't got no caterer license, but I was the caterer.
Okay.
And so what ended up happening was they took me along Florida. We went from Tallahassee to Miami to Orlando, Tampa, and I would cook for them.
Okay.
And each contract was $10,000 or greater.
Okay.
At the time, I still didn't see what was going on. So somebody ended up asking me, how did you get into catering? And I just went to talk. And I said, well, I'm formerly incarcerated, I can't get no job. I'm like a 5-time convicted felon, this, and that. And she was like, we're piloting a program called Serving Our Sisters. And it's a program where we go around all over the world and we create care packages for formerly incarcerated women. We also are looking for speakers to talk and tell their story. At this time, One Step Up was 5 years old.
Okay.
I had wrote my first book at this time. And I was just doing a lot of things in the community, working around Amendment 4. Was an organizer and really didn't even know I was an organizer. So speed the story up. Maybe 3 months later, she said, hey, have you ever thought about becoming an organizer? I said, no, I don't even know what an organizer is. She said, well, that's a person that mobilizes people to do a certain thing. Okay. And I said, well, I could do that because I know how to talk to people and, get people to kind of do what I want them to do. Maybe 30 days later, they offered me a job. And my manager now. At the time, I was started at the bottom of the totem pole, and it was a contract job.
Okay.
She said, I can only give you a contract for 6 months, and 6 months we'll see. She's saying, I do apologize because we have to start you a little under what we normally do because we're building. So at this point, I'm like, Lord, here we go, $10, $12. She said, the salary that I'm offering you, and she looking nervous. She said, well, I can only start you with $62,000. So I'm looking like, 62, like I ain't never made over 25, and that was a good year. And so I'm just as a student. That's fine. That's okay. I understand. Cause in my mind, I'm like, God, I ain't never. To this day, July the 28th will be my 5th year.
Wow.
I'm going on a sabbatical, and I have had 3 position changes. I'm now a senior regional manager, so I oversee people on the Northeast, all over DC, New York, Philly, the whole DMV area. We in Minneapolis. And so I travel there and do these things. And so to bring it back to the weight, I did not understand why I had to wait. I was searching and trying to find small things. And it brought me back to where God says, I know the plans that I have concerning you. And not only that, he says that it's according to my will, but I didn't understand what that meant at the time. His will was so much greater than what I was asking for.
Yes.
So everything that I was asking for, the small, mediocre stuff, I just wanted a good $15 an hour job. And he said, no, you reaching too low. So I have to make you wait until you understand, one, who you are, everything that you possess, and you got to know how to wait. Because if I put you in the waiting room, is what I like to call it, you learn there, you grow there, and it's a lot of things that I can do with you there so that when my will be done, you can handle it. So that's my wait story. It's not, it's a little different than what you asked me, but the wait sometimes is necessary and it's not always bad.
Wow. So with your weight came elevation.
Came elevation.
Came promotion. Wow. Well, the weight looks good on you.
Well, thank you.
Yes, it does. So you're talking about women of color. And I happen to know that you have something that's near and dear to your heart for women of color. Dear Black Girl. Tell us about Dear Black Girl.
Dear Black Girl is a program that is based off of my life. I encounter women of all different statures, genres, but it's something about a broken black woman, a black woman that has to heal, and she don't know it. And that was my thing for a long time. And I've been trying to do this since like 2008, off and on. I tried to do it with kids. I tried to do it with people in school, but I just could never find my niche until I just started encountering women that just like me, women that have been through, women that have just dealt with past traumas, and women that grew chronologically but was still stuck as a child. That's where the girl part come in.
Wow.
And it's like that girl was me for so long. I was the same girl for about 25 years. Wow. I would grow chronologically, but I was stuck at the age of 14. The age of 14 was a very traumatic time in my life, and it's like from 14 to 30, I'm 39 years old, and I'm gonna be completely transparent. From 14 to 36, I struggled just with not knowing my identity, not knowing and not understanding pain. Because a lot of times we run from healing, we run from hard work, we run from everything because it's painful.
Yes.
What I didn't understand was pain comes with it all. Love, you gotta go through some pain. To heal, it's gotta hurt. To grow business, it hurts.
Yes.
Like anything that's worth having, it hurts. And so what we do is we just deal with the mindset of women. I also was a woman that, I'm telling you, I had this organization since 2015, but it was going nowhere. And it was going nowhere because I wasn't going nowhere. I was still bitter, I was still angry, I was still mean, I was still upset. How can anything work for me if I'm that way? Another thing that I had to understand was as much as I pray and ask God to bless me, he does it through people. I didn't like people. And so any support that I was going to get, any kind of endorsement that I was gonna get, any kind of help I was gonna get, it was gonna come from a person. And I did not like people. But what I realized was it wasn't the people that I didn't like, it was me that I didn't like. And so what I would do was I would inflict the way I feel about myself onto other people. So when you come in the room and you see my outfit and you looking at me, and I had a nasty mouth. So my thing was, what the you looking at? You could think I look nice, but in my mind, I didn't like what I saw. So that's immediately what I thought you saw. Wow. So it would make me just mean, angry, hurtful, and I just got tired of being that way. I also didn't have a good support system. And I have friends. I love my friends. My friends are closer to me than my family because every time or every moment in my life, it was one of my friends. But my friends was like me. So they didn't know how to tell me that I was jacked up because they was jacked up. And so what I needed was a support system. What I needed was somebody to see me past my flaws, because on the inside, I'm screaming, help me. But because of my outside and my exterior was so jacked up, it would turn people away. So I tried to create a program that I could look at a woman and see her saying, help me. And I know that what I'm encountering or what I'm seeing on the outside, that ain't her. She really won't help. And I know how to go in there and help her change her mindset, help her learn how to love herself better, go through the stages of change, help her forgive. That was one of the biggest things for me, unforgiveness. And then help her finish strong. And those are the 4 things that our program is comprised of. And it's a program, it's a faith-based program. Like, I get down and dirty with you. If we got to get on the floor and roll on the floor, we gonna do that. If you don't want to talk to me, we'll sit there in the room and look at each other until somebody say something. Because I know that even on the outside and that exterior, you very tough. But on the inside, you just want a hug, or you just want somebody to understand, this is how I'm feeling, but I'm so afraid to be vulnerable because maybe a time before when I tried to express it, I was looked at as the bad guy. I was looked at as crazy. But I ain't crazy. I don't know how to express myself. And so sometimes I have to scream, I have to cuss, I have to do whatever I got to do, and I can understand it. So that's what Dear Black Girl is. Dear Black Girl is a space where we deal with mindset shifting, and we also created a platform to where if you want to do anything, we your testing ground. Okay. You know, we live in a world of social media. If you try to bake a cake and you put too much flour in the cake dry, baby, by the time you could think of even trying something else, the whole social media, the whole world done talked about how nasty your cake was. But when you come through our program, if you want to bake a cake, you just might not know how to bake a cake. And it's okay, because we're going to tell you in love, cake, maybe cake ain't your thing. However, I seen that you decorated that cake well, or you packaged it well, so let's try that. Okay. But we're going to do it from a place of love till you like, you know what, okay, well, maybe cake baking ain't my thing. Okay. Because I've also been there too, where I've tried different things, and they didn't work. Nobody showed up. I remember my first event. I was so ecstatic about this event. All my family, I'm thinking, coming. It was 3 people showed up, and 2 of the people was from Orlando. Wow. I cried like a baby because I could not believe, as much as I break my neck and get there for people, that nobody showed up for me. And it scarred me for a long time to where I wouldn't do anything. But then I had to learn them just weren't my people. I went to familiar people instead of going to needing people or people that wanted to do be a part of what I was doing. Right. And so I had to learn who my people were. And so I just try to be people's people. I try to be who I did not have.
So how do we access Dear Black Girl for that person in our listening audience that's interested in something like Dear Black Girl? How do they gain access to it?
We have a website, officialdearblackgirl.com. We're also on Facebook, Dear Black Girl. We are on Instagram, Dear Black Girl 1. We are on Yelp, Dear Black Girl. We are on Google, Dear Black Girl. Everywhere you type it in your computer, in your search, and we gonna come up. And we have intake forums. We do 4 cohorts a year. So right now we're in our first cohort. The next one will be in April. Following one will be in July. And then the last cohort before graduation in December will be in October.
For those that don't understand what a cohort is, would you explain to us what that is and how that works?
Okay, so a cohort is basically a pretty word for a group, a group of people. But we like, in the corporate world, we call them cohorts for whatever reason, I don't know, but it just sounds better than group to me. So it's just a group of women. We usually have about 15 to 20 women that complete each cohort.
Okay.
And so it's just a group of women that are ready to heal together, learn together, and finish strong together.
Heal together. You said something that really jarred me and took me to a place as a life coach that I deal with my clients quite a bit, and that's forgiveness. I want you to speak, look into the studio audience and speak to forgiveness. Speak to the importance of forgiveness. Tell us about forgiveness.
Okay, so forgiveness is not for the other person. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn, forgiveness was for me. Because unforgiveness will, but look at that, unforgiveness will take you all the way to the bottom and then under the dirt. It is a controlling thing. It is like a python. It will squeeze the life out of you. It will stop you from going in places. It will stop you from getting things. Forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness is strength. Forgiveness hurts. But again, it's one of those necessary things. We don't forgive people, and we give them people the power. The people that look like the people we didn't forgive, sound like the people we didn't forgive, we avoid it at all costs. And the very thing that we need, or that we're looking for, or that we're praying about, could be in that person that we trying to avoid. And because we didn't forgive them, it causes us to fail. And that was one of my big things. I didn't forgive people. I ain't like my mama. I ain't like my daddy. So I ain't like people that had relationships with their mamas and daddies. And it sounds crazy, but it's a real thing. I ain't like my son daddy. So I ain't like men. I felt like I'm going to be like them. Get me, and I'm good, and I'm going on. And that was hurting me. Like, I didn't like my cousin. So I ain't like women. You know, these are the people that's supposed to love me, and for whatever reason, I held resentment. And it stagnated, and it stopped me greatly. Forgiveness was one of the biggest things that saved my life. My first book was titled, I Forgive You. And in that book is where it made a lot of people mad. But I forgave everybody that I felt like I held resentment against. Mm-hmm. And then the last person I forgave was me. Because I was embarrassed to myself. It is nothing like being humiliated to yourself or embarrassed to yourself. To where you look in the mirror and you upset and just embarrassed at what you've done or what you think people think about you. And it stops you. So I had to forgive me. It's all right that you did this. You still holding on to something that ain't nobody that's important even care or even thought about. But you're holding on to that thing. And that's one thing that a lot of times we don't realize, that we have to forgive ourselves.
Yes. Because
we forgive everybody around us, but when it comes to us, it's just like a whole, because I should have been better. I should have done better. I didn't know better.
How do we forgive people that never apologize?
That's a hard thing. That is a hard thing, but a very necessary and therapeutic thing. Forgiving a person that never apologized, again, it's that principle of knowing that I'm doing this for me. So if you never say sorry, if you never reconcile or you know, whatever happened, that's fine. Because I'm good. And I love me enough to not even let you have that type of control over me.
Yes.
And so that's how we do that. We love ourselves more. Because when you really love yourself, you're going to take care of yourself at all costs. And it ain't no unforgiveness. It ain't no nothing that's going to stop you from taking care of you. Whether they apologize or not, I love me enough to forgive you anyway, because I don't put myself through that.
Right.
Because I love me just that much that I'm not going to allow me to hurt me again.
So would you agree with me when I say it's never okay not to forgive?
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. You know, forgiving for all of us is tough, especially when we've been wronged and are faced with the opportunity to make someone pay a penalty, or in our mind make them pay a penalty. I just want to reiterate to the studio audience that, there is no penalty or no punishment that we can give that's greater than one that will come. Karma does not need a forwarding address. It will follow you and show up wherever you are. So forgiveness is definitely key. You got a baby, not Nick. We're going to come back to Nick later. But your baby. Tell us about One Step Up.
One Step Up was birthed from a place of, again, needing. When I talk about One Step Up, it just does something to me because I created One Step Up back in 2015, and I was homeless when I created One Step Up. I didn't have a place to stay, but I could always keep up. Like, you would not know it. You would not know. I ain't got no what. Like, when you step, I was stepping too. I was probably stepping better than you, but I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything. And people would always ask me, like, how you doing this? Like, the people that know me, like, how do you? And I just knew how to do what I had to do to maintain. And so I created that program to help people that's getting out of jail like me. Like, baby, hey, we going to get them food stamps. We going to sell some dinners. We going to go to our cousin's house for a few days, and then we going to go on over to auntie house. Like, we going to make this thing work. And it's a funny story, but that's how One Step Up was created. And I remember when I created, this is crazy. I did prison time, and I got out in 2008. By 2009, I had got arrested again. And so I was on felony probation, and this time I had got a misdemeanor. I was driving without license. I didn't get my license, y'all, until 2016, but that's another story. So I missed the probation office, and in my mind, I just was a wild girl. I was like, you know what? They're going to have to catch me how they catch me. And I ran for 5 years. I ran for 5 years until one day I was on the way to work. I was in my sister's car, and it was a traffic stop right at JTB in 95. And the state trooper tapped the front of the car, and I said, you gotta be kidding me. But what happened was, when she came to my car, she was like, "Ma'am, why you stop?" I said, "Well, you told me to pull over." She was like, "Not you." It was that day I said, you know what? I said, I ain't doing this no more. Like, I'm tired of running. I remember calling a friend of mine, and I said, hey, I'm going to just go and turn myself in. And she was like, I don't think you should do that. Now, I told y'all I was a hustler, so I kept me a little piece of lawyer on retainer. And when I called him, he like, hey, where you been? Like, he was like, I didn't know what happened. And so I said, I'm out here, but I'm just going to turn myself in. He said, no, don't do that. He said, let me call and see, what's going on. He called me back the next day. He said, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, believe what? He said, your warrant was signed by Judge Moran, and he died.
My word.
So I said, okay, well, what that mean? He said, so now we have to find you another judge. 2 days later, I get on Judge Sal. Now, I don't know if y'all know about the
My Lord. My Lord.
So the daddy at that time. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was one of the most liberal judges that it was. So, when I went in, and I was just nervous. And I remember this lady told me, she was like, when you walk in there, walk on your right foot and recite the 23rd Psalm. So, y'all, I'm doing all type of stuff because I'm like, Lord, I want to go to jail, but I'm tired. So, when I go in there, and I had this notebook. I had just started One Step Up, and something told me to take this notebook. I had my business license in there, my 501c3. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm Googling how to start a business. So I'm just starting it because I'm telling you, the people I'm connected to, I'm the one that know the stuff, they follow me. So, we figured it out. I got this notebook because I can make something look. Fake it till you make it was a person. That's me.
All right.
So I go in the courtroom with this notebook, and he's like, why are you here? He going to make an example out of me. He read my docket, everything. Oh, he was like, oh, so you one of them. He was like, do you know this charge holds 22 years, and I should give you all 22 of them for running from me? He was like, because if I let you get away with that, everybody going to think that they can run. So I'm like, Jesus. He said, go sit down over there, and we'll come back. Mm-hmm. Finally come back to me. His whole attitude had changed. I don't know what happened. He said, what you got in that folder? I said, well, I started, this nonprofit. I had started going to school at the time. And I had just started doing different things because, like I said, I just was ready to change. Long story short, he said, I don't know why I'm doing this. He said, but what you want to do today? I said, I want to go home.
Uh-huh.
He said, I'm going to let you do just that. He said, but I better never see you come into this courtroom again unless it's on that other side of that brown wall helping somebody else. He was like, not often do I have people that come in here that have been doing something wrong, but actually trying to correct it and do something right.
Right.
He said, I don't know why I'm doing this. He was like, but you better get out of here before I change my mind. And so with that, I knew that One Step Up was a thing to where if it did that for me, anybody connected to me, we could make some things shake. So that is definitely my baby, because it was just one of the toughest times of my life.
I asked you about that. I met you when you were creating One Step Up. And a lot of what you said on the stage here tonight, I had no idea you were homeless. I had no idea that you were in and out of jail.
Does it make sense now?
It all
Why
makes
you see me
sense
so
now.
much?
I had no idea. But I know that you were a good person, at heart, a core good person with a good head on your shoulder. And so it's good to see you past the waiting and into the wailing stage of where God was taking you to. You're a daughter, you're a friend, you're a mother. So tell us about motherhood and your son and what he's doing and what's going on and how all of this played into his life.
My son was like my right hand. We did everything together. We was homeless together. We didn't eat together all the time because sometimes it was just him that ate. But my son is 21. He'll be 22 this year. He is a merchant seaman. Sent him to college. He said, you know what? This ain't my thing. I said, okay, you did what I asked you to do. You tried it. You went, you didn't like it. He went to 2 colleges. Tried them, didn't like them. But before you come back to my house, you got to have a plan. Being my child, I knew that he would do that. And he did just that. He came home, had his plan. He's been doing merchant marines for a couple of months now. But he's thriving, doing good, no children. Just a very respectable young man. And I know people say that they got good kids. I'm not gonna say I got a good kid. I'm gonna say I raised a good kid. Because when Nick not with me, I don't know what Nick doing. But I'm a praying mother. I remember when he turned 21, I said, God, well, at this point, I'm gonna have to go on and give him back to you, and I'm gonna just keep praying and let you do your thing. And for a while, we got a little rocky. He did that grown-up teenage thing. However, God kept him. He kept his promise to me, and now he's thriving and doing well. So, yeah.
That is wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. It is no secret what God can do. What he's done for others, he'll do for you. With his arms wide open, he'll pardon you. There is no secret what God can do. Thank you so much for the candid conversation here tonight and for joining us in the green room.
Thank you for thinking of me.
Hello and welcome back. Wasn't Quiana's candor and honesty just what we needed here in the green room to remind us of God's goodness and his mercy towards us? Aren't you glad that God is a God of a second chance? He doesn't give up on us, and he certainly doesn't give up on our family or our friends or our acquaintances or anybody. So with true hope, let's keep praying. Here's a few takeaways from today's segment. Number 1, all problems have a solution. Number 2, life rewards those who keep on trying. And number 3, other sources of help are always available. Not giving up can have a huge impact on others. And our last takeaway today is your past does not dictate your future. There is purpose for your pain and a plan for your life. No matter where you are and what you've done, you can walk authentically in your calling. It's me, Mischell Gee.
I'm here in the green room, sounding the alarm. The wait is over, and the time is now.
Do you want to do a podcast? An actual video podcast, but don't have the equipment? Thought it would be impossible? Well, the impossible can become possible. Give us a call today. We can have your podcast on all of the major platforms in less than 3 days. Our staff is standing by to assist you.
In our world, women wear many hats. Rather, she's our sister, auntie and mothers, or godmother. She tends to go out of her way to make everyone okay. But who checks on her? Lifetree Women Care Clinic believes in addressing all of women's health issues and preventative care issues to keep you going. Our state-of-the-art facility that can directly address all of a woman's health concerns. The caring staff of the Lifetree is waiting to serve you. Our director says it like this.
My goal is to meet every woman, one woman at a time, right where she is, and let her tell me what she needs so that we can work together to meet those.
Every woman deserves the best treatment, no matter what. We promise to treat the whole woman at the Lifetree Women's Care Clinic. Schedule your appointment today.
Isn't that the place to start?